No!
Hello again, everyone. I'm Germain, host of INFOcus People and Places. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the program to our viewers on VCAM up north in Chittenden County and Virgins onwards, and also to our viewers up in Bristol on NEAT television up there, and of course to our regular viewers down here in the Middlebury area as well on MCTV. We're all over the place now, and if you want to find out more about that, find out all about this program, INFOcus People and Places, once we're done here today. We certainly don't want you to go to your computer right now, but when we're done, and you're done watching, just log on to infocusvt.com for more information on the program. We've got a jam-packed program for you today. I'm glad you're stopping in today because on the program we're going to head out to the University of Vermont in Weybridge. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm talking about the Morgan Horse Farm. We're going to find out all about those majestic, large horses, those historical animals from the director out there, the expert, Steve Davis. He's invited us out to check out the horses at the Morgan Horse Farm. Also on the program, the return of Ben Vessa. We also call him Ben of all trades because that's exactly what he is. He is a jack of all trades, but his name is Ben, so he's Ben of all trades. And he's going to be shifting gears, no maintenance on your lawnmowers or weed whackers this time around. No, this time around we are going to bring to you, we're actually been invited into his kitchen. Ben will be showing us how to do some basic stay-at-home cooking. So he's going to cook up a meal for us. I'm always hungry, so that is a good thing. And on the program as well, we are going to find out about hope. What is hope? And who is bringing you hope? Well, Jean Montross is going to be joining us in just a few moments. She is the executive director of what used to be known as ACAG, Addison County Community Action Group. We want you to forget that, but not forget the services. We're going to find out all about their name change. It is now Hope. We're going to talk with Jean in just a bit. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about hope right after these words on INFOcus People and Places.
Hello, I'm David Pitkin from Chestertown, New York, regular guest on Jerry Germain's INFOcus show. Some of you may be familiar with my book, Ghost of the Northeast, which has some real good Vermont ghost stories in it. I'm looking for Vermont ghost stories for my next book, which will be New England Ghosts, that should be out in the fall of 2009. If you have a good story and you'd like to get in touch with me, go to Jerry's website, infocusvt.com, for the details.
Welcome back, everyone, to INFOcus People and Places. Joining us here in the studios today, the executive director of HOPE, Hope. It's no longer ACAG.
Correct.
Addison County Community Action Group. Jean Montross is here. Jean, I mean, the news has been out on the streets for a while, but let's officially now introduce people to HOPE, which stands for, if people can see behind your head there, Helping Overcome Poverty's Effects. Why the name change?
We've wanted to change the name of the agency for some time because when people just would abbreviate the long name, Addison County Community Action Group, ACAG, people had difficulty pronouncing it. It doesn't really mean... ACAG, yeah. Right, it means nothing. And also people would confuse our agency with the state's local agency, right. Addison Community Action, CVOAO. Right. So we thought we wanted a name that reflected the spirit of our work.
All one has to do is go to the phone book and look under, you know, Addison County, and there's a gazillion things, Addison County this, Addison County that. Now that you're Hope, yeah, there's no confusion.
Right.
You're not one of a plethora of Addison County agencies out there. So that was the main stimulus for getting to this point of introducing the name change?
Yes. To avoid
less
the
confusion.
confusion and something that we just liked better.
All right, so being able to find you in the phone book easier or online easier. What are some of the other effects that you are hoping to bring from this name change to Hope?
We want to raise our visibility in the community. This actually is part of the board's 5-year strategic plan that was completed last year, was to change the name and to start doing a larger public relations campaign, because it seems like no matter how much we thought everybody knew of our agency and what we did, we were always running across people who said, I never knew you were there. I never heard of you before. So we want to get on out there, and we felt that a nice logo was part of that. And this logo was designed by Sam Trudell. We had a contest and we had a number of entries. We had some very nice ones, but this is the one that staff and board overwhelmingly liked. And we thought it was really neat that Sam Trudell was the person to do it. Well known in the community, married to Kathy Trudell, the National Bank. There's always that National Bank connection. So this is really neat. And Sam is actually even studying social work right now. So
wow, when does he have time for that?
I don't know. He's a busy guy, but he just did this. And the name Hope was actually thought of by Dee Lamore at our offices. She came to me about, I'd say a year ago, and said Hope. And the words at that time she brought were helping our people every day. And we thought, well, those words don't quite work, but we really liked the name. And so we fiddled around and found this, which fits with we've changed our mission. So this actually is our mission, to reduce the effects of poverty.
All right, well, let's focus on that right now.
Okay.
I mean, you've been on the program many times before, and we've talked about homelessness, we've talked about hunger, poverty. I mean, that it really is at the forefront of what you are combating out there on an everyday basis. That certainly hasn't changed. Your name may have changed, but the poverty is still prevalent out there in Addison County. Talk a little bit about that.
We're actually seeing poverty on the increase, and that has been a nationwide trend the last year or two. We are having a lot more people come in to use the food shelf, people asking to use the food shelf more frequently, which is really difficult for us because we'll run out of food. I'm seeing people in the food shelf who have been my peers that I'm really surprised to see coming on in, and they wouldn't be there if they didn't need it.
Right.
Fuel costs have risen dramatically, and so people are needing assistance with that. People who need their automobiles to get to work and to get to medical appointments are having difficulties, so we have increased the amount of gasoline vouchers. It used to be capped at a certain amount, and we've had to increase that. One of the things that we're trying to do, if anyone else out there can help us, is instead of people from all over the county coming all the way into our offices, people from Virgins or Bristol or Fairhaven or Ferrisburg, not Fairhaven, New Haven.
You don't reach down to
We don't
Fairhaven
reach quite
yet.
that far. No, just Addison County.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense for them to be burning gasoline, coming all the way to us for the gasoline voucher. So we're trying to find some service stations in the outlying areas who are willing to work with us. If we can issue them, just fax them or give them over the phone a purchase order number and they could send us the bill, it would save a lot of gasoline and a lot of money.
Are you getting a lot of cooperation? You mentioned service stations. Are you getting a lot of help from people in the community, businesses that believe in your mission?
Businesses and individuals are very, very supportive. It's a very good county that way. Especially at the holiday times, businesses do a lot of food drives, a lot of little fundraisers in-house and send us the money. Recently, a lot of the churches in the area have been doing a donate your weight challenge, so that you would donate your weight in food.
Wow.
And that's been a lot of fun.
Now, are you getting cooperation at the state level? I know that's always been something you've been working on in Montpelier. So you're out of the office a lot, doing a lot of stuff, you know, in the state capitol. What are you getting as far as cooperation, especially on the affordable housing front? What are you getting out of Montpelier?
We've had there's one good piece and there's one bad piece right now. The good piece is that we got, it was H.863, an affordable housing bill passed. And there are a lot of critics in the local paper recently. There was some severe criticism of it. And I understand that not everybody's going to like that, but we felt that it was a very good and important first step. It can always be tweaked a little bit later, but we needed to get this bill through so that we could get a little bit more affordable housing built, because right now the picture is very bleak. What the bad news is that Governor Douglas, in his attempt to balance an out-of-control state budget, has proposed a dramatic cut to funding to the Housing and Conservation Board. And that's a huge shift in priorities. I think it's a very, very short-sighted decision. It's a big mistake. That money helps us to do a lot of affordable housing that is so badly needed. It leverages hundreds and hundreds, millions of federal dollars and money from other sources, and we need to not cut that.
Right.
The housing that we built, the Sanchez project that we did recently, we had people actually moving in from a state of homelessness. There was one man that we moved in there, and he asked somebody in our offices to help him go get his food and his clothing. It was in plastic bags under a bridge. There was another man who was living in his van in the winter. It was cold. He was getting really, really desperate. And these were disabled people. So we need to keep this housing coming. It's very important.
And it kind of surprises me that, let's talk about the John Graham shelter in Virgins, that there's only one homeless shelter, and you can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but that's the only one that I'm aware of. Why there is not one in Bristol or Middlebury? What's blocking something like that happening?
I think funding is the biggest piece of it, the funding to
Always
operate.
money.
I know the John Graham Shelter, having been its director in the past, really operates on a shoestring. It's really difficult to keep going. Without a lot more funding to operate it, we've got an issue. And then even if we did have that funding, we need money from the HCB to be able to build that. We need their funds and the funds from the other sources that would leverage. Also, I think that siting a shelter is a very difficult thing to do. People don't want it there. They envision drunks and bums and perverts
And
coming into
that
the
is certainly not the case.
That is not the case, no.
We're
Definitely
not,
not.
Brooklyn or something like that. Nothing against people from Brooklyn, but
But
we're not the big city.
Right, and we do have difficulty. I know that at our local shelter, it's very important at any shelter. If somebody's under the influence, you don't let them in.
Right.
You just can't do that to everybody else. You couldn't control it. But there are homeless families, there are homeless individuals. A lot of the people that we work with, because we do a lot of work at Hope with homeless folks who come in, when we see somebody with a substance abuse disorder, usually that is a sign of an underlying mental illness. And people will use substances to try to self-medicate, to make the voices go away, to maybe feel a little bit better when they're feeling so depressed that they would like to kill themselves. So that's the vast majority of that.
It can be a lot
what
of
it's
deeper
about.
issues.
Absolutely.
I think it really key, very poignant what you said earlier about, there are people out there that, they just don't bring up the fact that they're going through hardships, and, it could be your next door neighbor, or somebody that you know, or see every day, but you just can't tell that they're going through problems. So, it could be your average person out there that has these issues going on. Talk a little bit, you said your mission statement has really shifted to overcoming poverty's effects. What are some things that you have in the works to continue that?
Well, the basic things that we do, reducing hunger by providing food, providing warm clothing, household goods, money for housing, money for heat assistance, all of those things are very important. We feel that we need to reach out to more people. We know that there are a lot of people in the county who are eligible for our services who are not receiving them. So we're going to be doing not only the public relations piece to get the name out there, but we're actually going to be starting to load up a van with some food, some basic warm clothing, blankets, applications for other types of assistance, and getting that out to the outskirts of the county so that people can get some help and learn about us and apply.
You still have the thrift shop, you still have RetroWorks.
Yes, we do.
A quick little description of that as we are quickly running out of time, I'm being told.
That's our reuse and job training program and thrift shop. It's a great place to shop for anything you need for your home, practical things, clothing, blankets, sofas, mattresses, as well as things like records, 78s, 45s, stereo equipment, 8 tracks. Remember 8 tracks?
Yeah, the only problem with that, do you have the 8-track players and the record players to go along with those?
We often do. We often do, yes.
You never know what you're going to find
I
up
always
there.
have to keep looking for turntables because if one wears out, I need to have another one in the wings for my house because I couldn't live without my records.
All right, and do you have a website yet? I keep asking you that.
I know.
Has that changed?
No.
That hasn't
You've been
changed.
asking me that since radio days.
Yes,
We haven't.
many years.
We are hoping to get a summer intern this year
Okay.
to get that set up for us once and for all.
All right, you do have a newsletter, and people can always call you. What is that phone number, and where are you located?
The phone is 388-3608, and we're located at 282 Boardman Street up behind the Humane Society.
It is now Hope.
It is now Hope.
And let's certainly hope that people take advantage of that and find out what you're all about, and if they need to, use your services.
Absolutely.
You have many fine services. Jean Montrose, thank you so much for coming in and telling us all about hope, helping overcome poverty's effects, and best of luck in continuing that fight.
Thank you, Jerry.
Jean, thank you so much for coming in today, telling us all about hope, helping overcome poverty's effects. When we come back on In Focus, People and Places, we will talk about food. Stay at home, basic cooking that even I could do. And people that know me know that that might be stretching it a bit. But when we come back, we'll find out how easy it is as we check in with Ben of all trades. Ben Vessa has invited us to head to his kitchen where he will teach us some cooking skills when we come back on In Focus, People and Places.
This is Liza Sekeli-Lloyd from the Mahaney Center for the Arts at Middlebury College, and these are the arts listings for this week. The Middlebury College Orchestra performs in the Mahaney Center for the Arts Concert Hall on Friday, April 25th at 8 o'clock. It's free. Senior dancer and choreographer Adrienne Medina presents her senior work, Moments on a String, on Friday and Saturday, April 25th and 26th at 8 o'clock in the Mahaney Center for the Arts Dance Theater. Tickets are $5, $4, and $3. The Hirschfield International Film Series presents the Chinese drama Still Life at 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock in Dana Auditorium on Saturday, April 26th. Both screenings are free. On Sunday, April 27th, take in solo and chamber music performances by the students of the Middlebury College Music Department at 3 o'clock in the Mahaney Center for the Arts Concert Hall. This recital is free and open to the public. Violinist Megan Giuliano presents her senior recital on Monday, April 28th at 8 p.m. in the Mahaney Center for the Arts Concert Hall. Admission is free. In preparation for the upcoming production of Tom Stoppard's play Jumpers, take in a behind-the-scenes lunch and discussion on Tuesday, April 29th at 12:30 p.m. in Wright Theater. It's free. Also on Tuesday, senior vocalist Bill Davison gives a recital in the Mahaney Center for the Arts Concert Hall at 8 o'clock. It's free. Museum graduate intern Stuart Hurt gives a gallery talk on Thursday, May 1st. It's entitled The Pragmatism of Prayer, Duality in Italian Devotional Panels, and it's free and open to the public. The Department of Music presents a jazz showcase on Thursday, May 1st at 8 o'clock in the lower lobby of the Mahaney Center for the Arts. It's free and open to the public. The final faculty-directed theater production of the season, Jumpers, takes place in Wright Theater Thursday, May 1st through Saturday, May 3rd, with an 8 o'clock performance every night and a 2 o'clock matinee on Saturday only. Tickets are $5, $4, and $3. Performing Arts Series favorite Paul Lewis returns to Middlebury on Friday, May 2nd at 8 p.m. in the Mahaney Center for the Arts Concert Hall. His program of piano music includes works by Mozart, Ligeti, and Schubert. Tickets are $15, $12, and $5. And finally, the Spring Dance Concert, Shifting the Frame, takes place on Friday and Saturday, May 2nd and 3rd at 8 o'clock in the Mahaney Center for the Arts Dance Theater. Tickets are $5, $4, and $3. For tickets or information, give us a call at 443-MIDD or visit the Arts at Middlebury College online at www.middlebury.edu/arts. For INFOcus, this is Liza Sekeli-Lloyd. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back, everyone. As promised, we are going to have some cooking on the show right now. We are in Ben's kitchen, and it's back to basics. It's stay-at-home cooking, nutritious, hopefully for some of us economically feasible, and very delicious.
Yes.
What are we going to cook today? I understand it involves chicken.
We're going to do some pan-seared chicken with some asparagus and rice for vegetables.
You've got everything that you could possibly need right over there.
Yeah, very simple.
How do we start this?
Well, I guess the best thing to start with is that I'm going to start cooking the rice, because that's going to take some time to do. The chicken and stuff takes very simple, so we're going to go to cooking the rice. I've already added the 3.5 cups of water for what this calls for. It's very simple, basic instant rice. It says add to the pan, add the correct amount of water, medium heat. Bring to a boil and let stand. Very basic. Start the rice. We can start prepping some vegetables. I've already gotten things out ahead of time just to make this a little simpler for the TV. We have some bell peppers, regular simple bell peppers. You have to take and get rid of the seeds and stuff out of them normally. And just slice them thin.
Now, we talked about this being nutritious.
Yeah, nutritious. Yeah.
You've thought about that a little bit ahead of time. I mean, nutritious in selecting what you're using.
Selecting what I'm using with the chicken breast, it's just plain boneless chicken breast, not pre-soaked in anything with salt or anything. The asparagus is just good vegetable, high in antioxidants, green vegetable. Bell peppers are, of course, zero fat. And also we have zucchini and summer squash, which the vegetables have all really done. The chicken's going to be cooked with just a little bit of olive oil without any butter. That way there's a lot less fat in that. So it's a very low fat, low sodium meal that's just a simple meal that's not, like I said, not bad for you. So we've got our peppers thinly sliced. We have to do our summer squash and zucchini thinly sliced. I do this very carefully, not to cut yourself.
There would be blood if I had the knife in my hand, trust me.
No, it's not that hard. It's not. This isn't a special restaurant or anything. This is just simple home cooking, and I'm sure the rest of the family will not complain about if it's not perfect looking.
Are you sure?
Well, hopefully. Some people might, but I'm hoping not.
For those picky families out there.
Yeah. Well, we just hope that they're not that bad.
And how many are we cooking for? I mean, how much, or how many people would this meal you're preparing feed?
This is going to feed all of us, as well as another person. I have another person that's not here today that would like to try what I'm doing today, so I made a little extra. I'm basically doing a single serving for a normal one chicken breast per person type meal, so I can cook 4 breasts at a time. So I'm going to do what I'm doing now is serve 4 people.
Okay.
Of course, I'm prepping a little extra for later. So, asparagus, again, when you cut that up, a lot of times when you look at asparagus in a store, it's a little bit longer, and the ends are tough. And the way that I was taught to check to where to cut asparagus is you take one out, And this one's not gonna, but this had a longer piece on it and it broke off, and that's where I determined length of asparagus for tenderness, because it gets the bottom half is kind of more not as tender. It's more rough. I don't know the correct word to use for that. So simple prep time, a little bit of stuff.
And about how long should this generally take?
After you get everything prepped, I mean, the whole meal itself is going to take you probably half, 3/4 of an hour to do. It depends on how quick you are with your vegetables and chopping things. Asparagus takes a little bit longer to cook than the squash and stuff does, so I'm going to put that on beforehand. So there, the vegetables are done and prepped. The rice is starting to boil. It says bring to a boil and let it stand, so I'm going to let it stand. And in the rice, again, to add a little flavor, it is just plain white rice. To add a little flavor to it, I use a little bit of chicken broth for boiling. I substitute the chicken broth instead of water. And this particular here is low sodium and fat-free chicken broth, but it adds a little flavor to your plain rice. Works very well. And also in preparation, when you're preparing poultry or other meats, you want to make sure that you do your vegetables and stuff first on your cutting board. That way you can not have to wash your board in between time. Prepare your meat after. It's a little bit easier.
I know you wanted to talk a little bit about food safety.
Well, just mostly is of course being careful when you're cutting it up, but in making sure your food is correctly cooked, the temperature, and that it's not raw, and that you're not handling foods like vegetables after cooking touching your chicken, because your chicken has different things in it that you could catch from that. So you just want to make sure you wash your hands in between time. Very simple chicken breast that needs to be cut in half.
Any secret to filleting properly?
Just being very careful. I don't have any basic secret other than I lay it out flat, hold my hand firm so it doesn't wiggle on your hand. Go halfway between that and the cutting board, and you fillet your chicken breast. Biggest thing is a sharp knife. And then after I do that, I'm going to wash my hands because I don't need to handle it and handle the food. And that's
By the way,
it.
don't worry, I'll do the dishes.
You'll do the dishes. Cool. We know Jerry can do the dishes.
That's right.
Now we're just going to warm up the pan for the veggies. Is already warm. Going to add a little olive oil to that and start the asparagus. Just a couple tablespoons of olive oil, probably 2 tablespoons in there. Just move it around the pan. I'm going to add in the asparagus first because it does take a little longer than the other veggies to cook. Just wiggle it around the pan a little bit. A little olive oil on them, get them coated. Low to medium heat. Let them cover. As far as the vegetables, we're going to just cook them a little bit with some garlic and pepper. I'm not putting any salt on it because I'm going to use a little soy sauce for some flavor, and the soy sauce is low sodium, but that has plenty of salt in it to add the flavor you need. On the pan for the chicken, a little bit of olive oil. About a tablespoon probably. I take a little brush it around the ridge pan so you get it all over the pan easier. Then on the chicken, I'm going to put a little garlic powder. A little pepper. And then when that pan's warm enough, we'll put the chicken on. I just added the vegetables, the peppers, the green peppers, and then the zucchini and summer squash. About a tablespoon, good healthy tablespoon of garlic. Minced garlic, I buy it pre-done, it's easier. And I'm gonna add some pepper. And then stir it around a little bit more. Also the sesame seeds, I almost forgot the sesame seeds. If you want, you can add sesame seeds just for flavor, gives a little bit of a nutty flavor. And our pan is ready for our chicken. It's actually a little too ready. Well, Jerry, you said you're going to do the dishes. So
I don't think we need to film that, but
well, maybe
we'll do that later off camera.
Off camera.
But this smells and sounds and looks absolutely mouth-watering delicious.
Yeah, it's just really simple, easy cooking. It's nothing really hard to do. You're going to brown the chicken up on both sides, sear it, make sure it's cooked correctly and warm enough. A little lid to press it to help it down. Check your vegetables. Cook them so they're tender, but not overcook them. You still want flavor and goodness in them. You don't want them so that they're smushy and soggy. Okay, now that the veggies are prepared nicely, they're tender but not too soft, not mushy. I've added just a little bit of soy sauce on there to give some flavor. I'm going to add a little bit more onto the rice, depending on what the person wants. The chicken breasts are nice and browned, cooked well, and but yet seared at a higher heat to hold the juices in. And the rice is done, and we can prepare to serve a plate.
All right, so we're just about ready to eat here.
Yes.
Ben, before we start to consume this excellent meal that you have prepared for the benefit of our viewers out there, maybe some are just tuning in, again, the ingredients, what are they going to need to pick up at the store, what will they need, and then maybe just take us through a brief highlight run of what you did.
Sure, I just got, for the vegetables, I got some asparagus, some bell peppers, and some summer squash and zucchini, cut up really fine. Lightly seasoned with some garlic and salt, no salt, but a little bit of pepper and garlic and some sesame seeds, some soy sauce. I also cooked the chicken breast with a little bit of garlic and pepper on them in a little bit of olive oil, and we prepared the rice. I'm going to put the rice on the plate, put the vegetables on top of it. Simple instant rice, whatever you need. It's just real basic stuff.
And again, you want to make this as healthy as possible.
Yes, as healthy as possible. Just light oils like olive oil, no butter, low sodium, no salt, very little of that. You don't need that as much. You get enough of it from all the other foods you eat. And like in the rice, I use chicken broth instead of water to give a little bit more flavor. Just really, really simple stuff.
And again, this will serve 4 to 5 people?
4 to 5 people, yep.
Obviously, use more if you want to feed more.
Yes, that's right.
All right, so we're ready to dig in here.
Yes,
Ben,
we
thank
are.
you so much. For more information on back to basics, stay at home, healthy cooking, Ben's recipes, more information on everything, go to our website, which is infocusvt.com. It's that simple. And we are ready to dig in here. We want to again thank Ben for inviting us into his kitchen today here on InFocus People and Places. So as we get ready to eat this wonderful food that he has prepared for us here graciously, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more InFocus People and Places.
When you become a pheresis donor, you play a special role in helping to save lives.
There are patients among us who need platelets and other blood products each and every day. Perhaps it's a cancer patient undergoing chemotherapy, or maybe someone receiving an organ transplant.
And since platelets last only 5 days, the need for platelet donors is constant.
Please consider becoming a volunteer pheresis blood donor. Call 1-800-GIVE-LIFE for more information and to find a donor center near you.
Welcome back. As promised, we're taking a trek out of the studio and out to the area known as Weybridge, Vermont. Very close by, though, to Middlebury, of course, and something near and dear to everybody's heart is the UVM Morgan Horse Farm. And we have the director with us, Steve Davis. Steve, thanks for having us out here.
Pleasure to be here with you, Jerry.
Now, you're open year-round. You have tours. You let people come out and check out the horses out here at your famous barn and see what's going on all the time, right?
Right. Officially, May through October is the time when we have guided tours and really, formally greet people. But you're correct. Every month and 7 to 4 daily, anybody's welcome to come. We have 79 UVM Morgans here presently, a couple beautiful examples out here working. And our apprentice interns are a big part of the thing, and these young women are exercising the horses, and they do everything.
They're UVM students?
No, they're non-traditional between schools. The incumbents presently are 3 high school graduates that really want to pursue a dream of a horse career, perhaps, make or break decision with a year with us, and then maybe on to college or whatever.
So what is the cooperation, the coordination, ownership, what have you, of UVM and the Morgan Horse Farm?
Interesting history. The 130-year-old facility here that Joseph Patel built became the U.S. government farm in 1907, and the USDA ran it until 1951, initially as a remount station for the cavalry, and then as a research station. And then the university took it over in 1951, and they are now the longest stewards of the property. And the mission really is to maintain the legacy of the founders' famous herd of Morgans and to integrate that with educating the public about our state animal.
Yeah, that's right. Our state animal. There is a rich history with the Morgan horses. Can you give us a little quick background on how this horse became so popular and some of the myths and legends, maybe some of the misconceptions?
Well, the Morgan is the native first American breed, the utility animal that settled the area and colonized really the Northeast. And the foundation sire, Justin Morgan, typified in the statue there, was purportedly one of the most outstanding performance horses of the day, but also extremely prepotent sire, so that all of his offspring and his generations of legacy resemble him very much in his likeness. So,
what's special about the Morgan horse? I know you're probably prejudiced. You work with them all the time, but what sets them apart from other horses?
I think their intelligence, their willingness to please you and work for you, their durability, and those are the key attributes as I see them.
So what are the horses doing these days? Are they just for show? I mean, do people use them for farming? I mean, what are the uses for the Morgan these days?
I think occasionally there might be a novelty farm use, a stump pulling outfit or something like that, but more typically just a family companion, pleasure horse. There are all kinds of shows and competitions and disciplines that Morgans excel in. For example, the carriage driving discipline, Morgans have gone on to Olympic status and world champion status and those type of things. They're a great dressage mount, particularly for entry level. Same for entry level cross-country jumping. They're just a real versatile pleasure horse.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the training that goes on here, some of the operations here at the farm, and maybe we'll talk a little bit with some of the apprentice interns as well.
That'll be very good. Yeah, they're a big part of things and the most dedicated educational offering. Undergraduate students from UVM come down for about 12 visits per year. For some lab work in some of the equine studies courses or animal science courses.
Okay, we'll take a quick break and we'll have more coming up.
Hello, I'm David Pitkin from Chestertown, New York, regular guest on Jerry Germain's INFOcus show. Some of you may be familiar with my book, Ghost of the Northeast, which has some real good Vermont ghost stories in it. I'm looking for Vermont ghost stories for my next book, which will be New England Ghosts, that should be out in the fall of 2009. If you have a good story and you'd like to get in touch with me, go to Jerry's website, infocusvt.com, for the details.
Well, as promised, here is an apprentice intern here at the UVM Morgan Horse Farm in Weybridge, and she is actually from Weybridge.
That's right.
And this is Jessie Kemp.
Yep.
Jessie, how long have you been here at the UVM Morgan Horse Farm?
About 9 months.
Okay, and you live in Weybridge, so you obviously knew about the Morgan Horse Farm. Why did you want to come here and learn all about the horses?
Actually, funny story. I grew up here on the farm. I lived here till
that made it very convenient.
Yeah, I lived here till I was 7, so I sort of knew the ropes before I started. I've been interested in horses my whole life, and it's something that I wish to pursue when I'm done here. So just seemed like the next step after I graduated.
So what kind of things are you doing out here? What have you been doing for 9 months?
Well, first we start off by cleaning 40 stalls every day.
Ooh.
A lot of work. And then everything from helping with the birthing process with the foals, which is coming up pretty soon, to helping train the horses, riding, driving, the beginning stages all the way up through the horses that are fully trained and in shows.
What has been the most challenging part of your education?
I'd have to say working with the younger horses. They're not really sure what everything's about yet, so you sort of have to teach them as you go along. And for me, I'm still learning too, so it's quite a challenge.
What is the mystique of working with the Morgan horse to you?
To me, I don't know.
What's special about them?
They're amazing. That's the best word to use. They love to please. They try as hard as they can all of the time. They give you 110%. Even on an off day, they try to do as much as they can for you.
What is a question asked by people that are maybe touring here? What is the most commonly asked question about these horses?
What they're used for, their disposition, how they are around kids.
And how are they around kids?
They're great. My little sister rides a Morgan. She's 5. I'm 18, and I ride them here. They're great family horses. I love them. I'd definitely have one.
Is it very physically challenging to work with these animals?
No more so than any other breed, if not a little less. You definitely have to be sure of yourself when you're with them, especially the younger ones. They get kind of jumpy. On a day like today, you certainly wouldn't want to come out here with a couple of the young ones and try to walk them around flat. But.
Any memorable moments?
A lot.
All 9 months?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I guess when the first horse that you start to work with, once it's been sold and once it leaves, that's hard. It's hard to say goodbye. you definitely get attached to the horses that you're put with, and it's difficult to say goodbye to them after you've gotten used to them.
Jesse, what are you going to take away from this experience when you're done here?
Everything. Steve's great. He teaches you so much. Spending a day with Steve, you will learn 10 different things than if you were to be in the barn by yourself. But mostly just having the patience to work with the younger horses, that's something that I learned here. And, I can't wait to have my own barn and be able to take what I've learned from Steve and the horses here. I learned a lot from the horses as well. Just being able to take that back with me will be great.
Speaking of the horses, you're going to introduce us to one.
I can do that.
We're going to get up close and personal with a Morgan horse here at the UVM Morgan Horse Farm in Weybridge. Jesse, lead the way.
Okay.
Jesse, here's a horse.
So this is UVM Equity. He's a 12-year-old stallion, and his sire is UVM Lash, who is our senior stallion, who's 26 years old, and his dam, or mother, is UVM Mystic. And he's the saddle horse that you saw outside up in the driveway.
And who's this guy?
This is Steve Davis. He's our director.
And your boss.
Yes. Yes, definitely my boss.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk with Steve again as we get ready to close things out here from the stables at the UVM Morgan Horse Farm. Again, wow, this is a large animal.
Yes, he's a good-sized UVM Morgan, and he's a mainstay of the breeding herd.
All right, the mission, the overall goal of what you do here at the UVM Morgan Horse Farm is?
We're very much a bellwether for the industry. We want to preserve the traditional Morgan breed type, the disposition the breed's known for and is expressed by this pretty individual, and to educate the public about Morgan horses.
All right, people can come out here and check it out for themselves.
We sure welcome anyone, anytime.
Where are you located?
Weybridge, Vermont, 74 Battelle Drive, uvmmorgans.edu.
All right, we'll have a website, we'll have a link to that website through ours.
Terrific.
Which, of course, for you people out there that have not been paying attention, we've shortened that web address. It is INFOcusVT, INFOcusVT.com. Steve, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jerry.
And to Jesse and all the fine crew out here at the UVM Morgan Horse Farm for having us out here. And thank you for being patient with us. Mighty horse. All right, thank you for tuning in. Big thanks to Ben of All Trades for cooking up that wonderful stay-at-home meal for us today on our Ben of All Trades segment, and to Gene Montross as well from Hope for introducing us to the name change of that organization that used to be known as the Addison County Community Action Group, and telling us all the information on that. Again, go to INFOcusVT.com for information on past shows, current shows, upcoming shows, and all the information you could possibly want about this program. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jerry Germain. Until next time, take care.
Okay, Eck, let's go to bed.